morning, millennials. Welcome back to the Morning Toast. Happy Wednesday. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Hey, Claude, how are you doing?
Hello, Jacqueline. Happy hump day to you and your loved ones. I am doing splendiferously. I'm so tired. Yesterday was the longest day of my life. But I'm excited to be here because we have got a bang out, drag out episode. What's the phrase?
I don't know what you're trying to say, but we do have a blockbuster episode for you today. If we may just walk you through it really quickly. Obviously, we have the Fast Five stories, and you know what? They are extremely varied, and I look forward to getting your take on them.
We're varied queens.
We are. Then we'll be recapping Real Housewives of New Jersey, another great episode from the ladies last night. Can't freaking wait. Also, I watched the first episode of Gilded Age yesterday. I don't have enough to say but I'll put it in the TV segment because who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Then you sat down yesterday with Sofia Franklin and conducted one of the best podcast interviews I've ever watched. Like, You know how I've been looking for podcast content to watch? Well, your interview with Sofia was meant for me. I was your target audience and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was cracking up. The two of you are so funny. There was so much good tea, information, lessons, wisdom being shared, spilled, and I just enjoyed it so much. I'm so excited for everyone to hear it.
Well, let me tell getting emotional. Let me tell you that I don't think I've ever been so taken by someone's presence in my life. I had never met Sofia before. Obviously, I've DM'd and texted with her a bunch, but never met in person. And she is, first of all, she's gorgeous, but she's just this, she really is that girl. She's just so, she has this great presence about her. We were having technical difficulties. So for 20 minutes, we just sat there and talked, and we were tears in our eyes, hysterical laughing. She's so funny. And I think no matter where you ended up, on what side of the call her daddy divorce, you should listen to the episode because I think her POV, and honestly, I didn't want to get so much into call her daddy. I didn't want her to feel uncomfortable, but she was really open. So I just let her say her piece. I wasn't really planning on going that deep, but she was open. And there's some good tea in there, obviously, but also, I don't know, I just think don't write Sofia off. She's extremely funny. Her point of view is super interesting. She's been through a lot, and I think you'll see things differently after the episode. Or if anything, you'll just have an appreciation for someone who's really funny and who can laugh at herself. And Fofia Yanklyn, it was really an amazing experience. And then I also podcasted with her for her podcast, and I do believe that comes out today. And there were some also juicy tidbits on there as well.
More content for me to consume. I'm so excited. And also, I think you could say she's textbook everything of the sort. I think those are the words you're looking for.
100%. She was just sitting across from me, putting on her Charlotte Tilbury, nude lip liner. And I was like, this is a girl, I want to be. She's just fabulous.
Wow. I'm wearing Charlotte Tilbury today, too.
Me too. It just wasn't the same.
It just doesn't look the same.
No, it was different. She did it differently, and it was so cool. And I felt like I was in high school, with one of the popular girls. She was just so in person, so radiant and so funny. And I was giddy when I left because I think she's thinking about moving back to New York, and I just wanted to get drinks,
Yeah, that's the best feeling. Also, speaking of getting drinks, it looks like you had a really interesting evening last night.
So let me just tell you about my day.
Share with the class. Okay, tell us about your day.
I went to the studio to podcast with you, and we haven't been to the studio in months, and I just went through every package. It was literally a warehouse, so I was sweating like an animal. We had mattresses, nutrition bars, all these packages. I was sweating like an animal. Then I sat down and recorded Melissa Gorga's podcast, which was really fun, a lot of Jersey tea. And I think it comes out this week or next. I'm not 100% sure. Then Sofia got there. We did our segment. Then we did Sofia's segment. I came home, got dressed, showered, and I went to a Torah class, a little Tamara Judge Bible study moment, which I haven't been to in a while. I used to go to a lot before COVID, and it was really an eye-opening experience. I guess I didn't realize I don't know what it was, but it was an eye-opening experience because I realized I think I've been very disconnected from my faith. I was just I was sitting at the Torah class and it all felt so foreign when I used to do this so frequently, and I felt like guilty. And actually the Torah class was really perfect for me because, and I just wanted to share, I think it's obviously a Jewish class, but there was like the overall message that I think is nice for whatever religion you are.
Share.
She was basically saying like Judaism, or you can apply it to whatever religion you are, like faith is like an inheritance. There's 4 kids. The dad leaves them $10 million each. And even if there's one kid who has a lot of money already, he's still entitled to that $10 million just as much as the person who's not the most well off. And it's like your faith is an inheritance. Like even if you have an abundance of it, like you always want more. And even if you are not like the most involved in spiritual you've been, like you're still entitled. We are all children of God. Like we're all entitled to that inheritance. And no matter what spectrum of the religious scale you are, like we are all God's people. And I was just like feeling guilty because like I never go to the Torah classes, and she was like speaking directly to my soul.
Claudia, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that little tidbit. Yeah, I think that especially in COVID, a lot of people have felt like disconnected from faith. I mean, on a very technical level, like not being able to go to a house of worship,
church, yeah,
to a Torah class. So I'm glad that you reconnected. It sounded like you had a very balanced day. You know, podcast, Torah, Tyler C.
Yes, so then I went over to Tyler C's apartment, and I had to like skedaddle out of the Torah class just a little early. And they're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I have to go to my boyfriend's apartment. Sorry." And he's on this new TV show called The Real Dirty Dancing, and I watched last week, and then this week's episode, he invited a couple people over to watch, and it was really fun. And he's so good on the show, and he's like so proud of it, and everyone should watch. It's a really cute show. And then we just like hung out, ate pizza, and I was just like one of Tyler's girls, you know?
That's so cute. You know what's such a random coincidence? This always happens to me on my Time Hop, but I was on Time Hop, and 2 years ago today, we went to Tyler C. No, 2 years ago yesterday, we went to Tyler C's apartment for that party that time. Isn't that so weird?
Oh my
you were
God,
there
so
on the
yesterday
same day. You were on the same day. You were there on the same day, 2 years apart.
No, it's my Tyler anniversary. That's beautiful.
Do you think Tyler C is the person who wrote in about having a threesome with you in bed?
With me in bed? It's possible. I don't want to, we really take pride in our Dear Toaster segment being completely anonymous, so I don't want to out anyone, but it's entirely possible.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm so glad that you had such a well-rounded day, really, and that we get the fruits of your labor. All this content.
How was your day, Pregio?
Thanks for asking. My day was the same as usual. Actually, not really. I skipped over my nap because I thought it would enable me to go to bed earlier, and I was like, that sounds like a nice idea. So I got into bed at 10:30, and of course I was up till 1 still. But I did go to the doctor yesterday. I have another appointment today, and we got to see like the sonogram stuff, but baby was hiding. We didn't see shit. And I was so fucking tired.
So shy. This is the baby.
I'm shy.
Oh.
And I was so tired that I was like closing my eyes on the table. I was like, there was nothing to see here by Kevin Wilson.
Okay.
So,
literally.
It was then quiet. Then I spoke to you. Then I watched your interview with Fofia, which was really the highlight of my day. Then I watched Gilded Age, Real Housewives of New Jersey. Usual business. Nothing to report.
I watched New Jersey also. We'll talk about it in the TV recap. I actually watched the interview with Fofia when I got home yesterday, like to relive it. And then I watched it again this morning. I'm like obsessed with it.
Well, if you're listening as a podcast, it'll be at the end of this episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, it will already be up on YouTube like before this video goes up. So hopefully you will have already treated yourself to it.
Yeah, it's a real treat.
It's a sweet treat.
A sweet treat. So I think without further ado, where are you?
Where is Do? I've heard he's out of the house.
No, he's home. He's scratching at my door. He wants to come inside with mom, but mom's busy.
Damn. So I guess without further ado at the door, it is time for the Fast 5 stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast.
And today's episode is brought to you by That's It Nutrition. That's It makes delicious, convenient, plant-based super snacks from only the purest ingredients. And that's it. All of their snacks are natural, non-GMO, and preservative-free with no added purees, juices, or concentrates. That's it. They offer a broad range of convenient on-the-go snacks with all items containing 6 ingredients or less. They make fruit snacks that are actually made from 100% real fruit, which is a mind-blowing concept. Their snacks are school safe because they're completely free from the top 12 allergens. That's It makes snacks without secrets. So the ingredients on the front of the packaging match the ingredients on the back. They're fruit bars, which is their top selling bar in America, which we have a huge stockpile of at the studio that I was eating all day yesterday. They contain 100% fruit and they're so good. Their simple, recognizable ingredients come in portable, convenient formats. You can find That's It nationwide at your local Starbucks, at major retailers such as Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, and Costco, and online at Amazon and that'sitfruit.com. Head over to that'sitfruit.com/toast and use the code TOAST to receive 20% off your first order. That'sitfruit.com/toast and use code TOAST to receive 20% off your first order. Today's episode is also brought to you by Third Love, one of our favorite brands here at The Morning Toast, an OG sponsor. You guys know how in love we are with their bras because not only are they great quality, but they know how to fit a breast. And I think the greatest asset Third Love has is their fit quiz, their fitting room quiz, because I think a lot of us are walking around wearing the wrong bra size. I know I was for like at least 10 years, and it wasn't until I took this really in-depth quiz on Third Love about the shape of my boob. Are my cups flowing over? Is my band too tight? It's good questions, and then I realized what my true size was, and I was wearing the totally wrong size. And then they have so many different bra options. So the fitting room quiz makes it easy to find a bra that actually fits. It's like a personal shopper, but better because it focuses on size, breast shape, current fit issues, your personal style. And they have the Love Your Fit guaranteed. So if you don't love your fit, you can exchange and return, and they're free for 60 days, Their team of expert fit stylists is available to chat via text and answer all your questions. And their latest Deco Lace collection is designed to make you feel sexy 365 days of the year. Putting on this collection feels like indulging in yourself every day. Third Love does comfort, so you can do you. So obviously their bras are amazing, but they also have underwear, activewear, and feel good all day wear that are designed to hug better, hold stronger, and support longer. Third Love obsesses over each stitch, so you never have to think about how something feels, looks, or wears. The 100,000 5-star reviews don't lie. Feeling is believing. Upgrade to everyday pieces that love your body as much as you do. Right now, you can get 20% off your first order at thirdlove.com/toast. That's 20% off at thirdlove.com/toast. Now, I did want to say one thing. I apologize for what's going on behind me. It is Wednesday. Everyone knows that's the day I do my laundry. And I just want to let you know Theo has entered the building, so we can officially get started.
I saw that behind you. It's the changing of the sheets. Very exciting.
It's the changing of the guards.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into the stories.
Every time you cough or choke, I'm like, it's time.
Call Zach.
Oh my God. I called Margot today because I had something so juicy to tell her that I'll tell you afterwards. And she didn't pick up. And I'm like, if you don't call me back right now. And she goes, Jackie's in labor.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you would be hearing it from me? No, I would be hearing it the same way you do.
Totally. Actually, if we were like on the toast, you might have a fast track to knowing, but it's the same thing here. Like every time I'm like, Zach, like asking for like, him to bring me a glass of water. He's like, you can't, and literally he'll come in to the, like, or he'll be in the other room and I'm like, like just sighing, just a general malaise.
As one does.
And he's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I can't do what? Speak?
Breathe?
Literal breathe.
I just want to say, if LC is a true content creator, he would know the timing for him to come would be on the podcast because literally that would be so meta, so everything. Like, I just think it's something LC should think about.
If my water broke during the podcast. Well,
so sickening.
So sickening. But depending on like when your water breaks and such, we could keep podcasting. Because I have time, like you do have a lot of time before you need to go to the hospital. It's
would
not,
you
like,
ever?
Imminent. It would depend where we're at in the show because then also I need to get the episode up. Like I'm still going to sit here and work.
Right. Oh my God, that's like, I remember when I was a kid, I think the first like labor on reality TV I saw was Kourtney Kardashian's first birth, and her water breaks, and we're used to seeing the movies, oh, get the bag, get the car.
Yeah.
And she takes a shower and blows out her hair. I'm like, this bitch is crazy. But that's actually what happens.
That's actually what happens. You spend a good amount of time at home. You see how far apart your contractions are. Once they get to a certain point, you go to the hospital. So there's a chance if we were podcasting, I would just sit here in my amniotic fluid.
Oh, and
keep
and we'd
working.
literally, and we'd have contractions with you, like, right? Like,
yeah. That's not a contraction. I think the labor contractions are like doubled over in pain for about 1 minute. And then you get a few minutes off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible. Godspeed.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Thank you. Well, let's get into the stories. Our first story, some hosting news. Sherri Shepherd will be named the permanent guest host of the Wendy Williams Show. Sherri Shepherd is set to be named the permanent guest host of the Wendy Williams Show following her health hiatus in September 2021. Beginning in September 2022, the former View co-host will take over the series regularly. However, one source tells Page Six that the move will not be forever. TMZ reports that producers will monitor Wendy's progress between now and September, which is when they would premiere the show's 15th season. If Wendy is healthy enough to host by then, she'll be welcomed back with open arms. If not, Sherri will take over and producers will consider a name change for the talk show. Wow.
Well, obviously, it's not going to be Sherri on the Wendy Show. But I have to say, they've been having a huge rotation of people. I know Michael Rappaport, Heather McDonald, Jerry O'Connell. Mm-hmm. Also, did you see Heather McDonald posted the video of her faint? Oh, okay. Yes. She's such an icon. Okay. So they had a lot of Leah Remini. I saw a very funny segment that she did. So I think Sherri Shepherd is great. She obviously has a ton of hosting experience. She was on The View. And she's also just like an American icon, honestly. So I think it's a great selection. But I am confused. I just feel like we've been in this limbo with Wendy for so long. And I do feel like it's time to just like move on. Like this, they're like, she's a permanent host, but it's temporary. We'll reassess in November. Like, which is it?
No, she's the permanent guest host.
Right. Like, it's just confusing.
I agree that it's confusing, but I'm sure, I'm sure they're reticent to change the entire show considering it's been such a success. People love Wendy. And even if this is like a slow, if ultimately it will no longer be the Wendy Williams Show, I think they probably want to ease the audience into it as opposed to just being like, Wendy's over, here's your new show. And I think they want to just retain that audience. So making the changes incremental might be easier for the audience to digest.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a feeling my gut is just saying Wendy will not return. And I do feel like it's the end of an era. Like there's no show. She's not like other hosts. There's really no show like Wendy. Like she's incredibly unfiltered, borderline offensive sometimes, but like it's refreshing because everyone is not like that. So if this is the end of her show career, I do feel like she will be missed and there will be like a huge gap in the market and whoever comes in will be great. But there is no one like Wendy, honestly. Love her or hate her, like you have to acknowledge she's not like other hosts.
No, and it's so hard to have continued success in this space. So whatever she's been doing, she's obviously doing something right. And it definitely signals the end of an era, though I do think Sherri Shepherd will do a great job.
Me too. I also feel like we haven't gotten like a really like good understanding of what Wendy's going through. So I just want to wish her well, but I am confused.
Yes, I agree. And I hope that she takes the time that she needs. And even once she does start feeling better, that doesn't necessarily mean like you should go back to working like it's a taxing job mentally, physically, emotionally. And sometimes you just need to be not working.
Agreed. And I'm sure whatever she's going through, like the stress of being a daytime host was not helping.
Yeah, for sure.
Wishing her the best, truly.
Truly. Okay, our next story.
James.
It's something that you just mentioned. I'm just going to scoot it on up to the top. The stories are kind of out of order today. There's no usually I try to have them make a bit of sense, but they don't make sense today. The chronology. Heather McDonald posted a video.
Don't explain yourself. You are an artist, and what you do is beautiful and important. And I don't really feel like you have to explain yourself, honestly.
Thank you, Claudia. But Heather McDonald is posting the video of herself of her onstage faint that resulted in a skull fracture. So over the weekend,
wait, Jackie. This story actually should have been slated behind the Wendy story because the video of Heather fainting reminded me so much of the video of Wendy Williams fainting. They're identical.
Yes. Oh my God. Watching someone faint is shocking.
I hate it. Oh my God, it makes me so nervous.
Shared video footage of her fainting spell that took place on stage over the weekend in Tempe, Arizona. The comedian fell after taking the stage for a stand-up set on Saturday night and was later admitted to the hospital with a skull fracture. On Tuesday, she shared a clip of the moment along with the jokes that preceded it about how she's been COVID vaccinated, she has the flu shot, she has the shingles shot, and how Jesus loves her. And then she fainted.
Okay, Heather's such an icon, first of all. Like, the fact that she posted this video, because it's not, like, a super flattering video. Like, and she could have, it's not like this was being aired. Like with the Wendy video, that video just got shared and shared because it happened on air. This is a video that the comedy club recorded. A lot of clubs can record your show for you, which as a comedian is really helpful to rewatch the show over. And so she didn't have to share this with us. She didn't. But she did, and that's why she's an icon. I think the last thing she says, being Jesus loves me, it's like you actually can't write comedy that good, honestly. Like
she said, clearly Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. And I think for the audience, they didn't realize at first.
They didn't move.
They didn't flinch because they thought it was part of this bit because it all like together is comical.
A bit.
It's scary and serious, but if you're sitting in a comedy club, like you would imagine it's part of the bit.
So literally, like I watched a video a couple times over and I'm watching different people in the audience and nobody moved a muscle, like not a flinch.
Oh my God.
And first of all, you can see really where she fractures her skull. She goes down hard on the back of her head and she must be in a lot of pain. So like wishing her like a speedy recovery. And I think for whatever type of performer you are, like you always get nervous. Like I always think like, what if I have diarrhea on stage? Like my stomach starts to hurt and I get like sweaty Shawn Mendes vibes, you know? That's my personal, but I think a lot of people think like, what if I faint? And I always say like, if I go on and like I can't remember what I'm about to say, like one of these days I'm just going to fake faint. So just know if you come to my show and I faint, like it's fraudulent, just like me.
Stop. Then they'll be playing this clip when you really do faint and then this will be another ironic moment. So take that back.
I've never fainted. I take it back. Sorry, I do take it back. I would actually never fake faint. That's disgusting.
You also wouldn't be good at fake fainting because you wouldn't commit to the fall. You would like, buffer your head or something.
Yeah.
And we would all know. We would know.
No, it's true. Because like in order for it to be like a real faint, like every muscle in your body, like everything just shuts down. Like you're completely limp.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to commit to that. Limp. No. Limbs are limp.
Yeah. Have you fainted once in high school, right? I do believe I caught you.
Yeah, because I donated blood and I was just too small and I shouldn't have.
You guys, I'll never forget. I'm on the 3rd floor walking by the elevator. Jackie's walking this way, like towards me. What great timing that we just happened to be near one another. She donated blood and she don't look so good. And she's like she's a little green and she's like wobbling. And I'm like, hey sis, you good? Boom. Falls on the floor. Our history teacher, Dr. Deutsch, came and picked you up, and then you threw up on him.
No, so what happened was, so then they came and picked me up, and they put me in a wheelchair just to, like, move me around, and the nurse, like, I'm sorry, this is just, like, some trauma, gave me a bag to throw up in. And so I was sitting in the wheelchair. I threw up in the bag, and the bag didn't have a fucking bottom.
It had a huge hole.
It was a bottomless bag. I threw up all over my lap. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It was like, and everyone in the school was buzzing about it. Oh my God, it was like the biggest drama.
It was in between classes. Everyone was like flooding out, and
shuffling.
There she was. And I mean, I tried to do a good deed. Obviously, I haven't donated blood since. I'm clearly not a candidate.
No, you're not equipped. But is that the only time you fainted?
Yes, that's the only time I fainted.
It's one of my biggest fears. Like, it looks so scary. It's one of my biggest fears.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I mean, for Heather. And obviously she's joking about it and she's back on her podcast, so I'm sure she's doing okay, but still, like, a very scary situation.
So scary, but she's really, like, such a seasoned comedian that she can make a joke out of this, because, like, some people might feel embarrassed by it. Some people might not want to show the video. And she's just an icon and a legend. She's a podcaster. She knows the importance of sharing content with her audience. And I just have so much respect for Heather McDonald always, but today in particular.
Agreed completely. Okay, our next story is really funny. It's a story for you. French Montana can't believe that he once met the Tinder swindler, and he has the photo to prove it. So French Montana posted a selfie of him and Simon Levav, a.k.a. the Tinder swindler.
Levav, get it right.
Don't get it.
And actually, that's not even his real name, and I think it's actually really disrespectful that this article is using his real name. His name is Shimon Hayut.
Okay, so he posted a picture with Shimon Hayut while he was pretending to be Simon Levov, and he was so surprised that he's rubbed elbows with the fraudster. I guess he's been watching the documentary also, and he found the picture and said, "I can't believe I met the swindler," laughing emoji.
Okay, I have so many questions about this. One, because it appears as though they're on a commercial flight, and we all know Simon Levov never flew commercial. Two, this picture just was posted and taken so out of context. I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, they're together right now. I actually didn't realize until this moment that this was like an old picture that French Montana like found.
Yeah.
Because Simon is back, he's out of prison. He's flying on jets again. Nobody knows what he does for a living. He's got all these beautiful women around him. So I thought this was something happening now, but I guess it's not.
No, I guess it's not. But it's so funny because I feel like oftentimes with these schemesters and fraudsters, they taught these like celebrity connections while they're doing their scheme, and of course like the celebrities are like shudder to think like, I don't fucking know this person, how did my name get entangled with them? And like to then imagine being French Montana and like he probably watched this documentary and then like saw that he's actually met this person, and leaning into it is so funny as opposed to like pretending, you know, like it didn't happen.
Yeah, every once in a while we're watching like a documentary and some celebrity makes their way in there. I forget what I was just watching, and I think it was Gwyneth Paltrow was in it. Like it was like her cousin. WeWork. Yeah. They did an interview. The wife was like this wellness freak. Yeah. So every now and then it comes up and it's so funny. And you're right, like seeing French lean into it is fun. And this just further, you know, cements why I have like a special place in my heart for French Montana, always and forever.
Yeah, that is really funny. You saw that they're making a movie about WeWork, like it's with Anne Hathaway is playing the wife, and I forget who's playing Adam, but
I mean, if I remember correctly, when we watched the documentary and then recapped it, I do believe the overall message was like, is this a story worth telling? And now it's a story being told again. So, I mean, I'll watch it, of course, but I don't know. I just didn't think it was like that crazy of a documentary.
I agree. I didn't think it was that crazy of a story.
But that's just me. I have a high bar because I watch Locked Up Abroad, you know?
Yeah, they should make that into a movie. Are you ready for our next story?
Only if it's a story that's brought to you by ZipRecruiter.
It is. Actually, it's the perfect story for ZipRecruiter. You'll see why.
You almost would think we plan these things like we kind of should, but we don't. According to the latest research, 90% of employers plan to make enhancing the employee experience a top priority in 2022. After all, a happy workplace is a key to attracting and keeping great employees. And if you need to add more employees to your team, there's ZipRecruiter. Their matching technology helps you find the right people for your roles fast. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/toast. ZipRecruiter uses its powerful technology to find and match the right candidates up with your job. Then it proactively presents these candidates to you. You can easily review these recommended candidates and invite your top choices to apply for your job, which encourages them to apply faster. It's no wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site in the US based on G2 ratings. ZipRecruiter's technology is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So find the right employers for your workplace with ZipRecruiter. Try it for free at this exclusive address, ZipRecruiter.com/toast. That's ZipRecruiter.com/toast. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Well, Amy Schneider's former employer is going to be needing to use ZipRecruiter to fill her job.
She's going to be neating.
Because Amy Schneider has quit her day job after her historic Jeopardy run. So the Jeopardy champ announced on Tuesday that she recently quit her day job as software engineering manager following her historic run on the game show, where she netted about $1.4 million. She said, "Some of you may have heard, but I quit my day job yesterday. It's a bit nerve-wracking to pivot from software engineer to public figure, I guess. But regardless of the outcome, I'm so excited to spend the next couple years at least tackling this new challenge."
Yeah, of course. I mean, even if... So she won like, I think, over $1 million after taxes.
1.382.
So after taxes, it's like $700,000. That's a lot of money. You can definitely live off of that. But also, people are obsessed with her. She's like a trans icon now. She's a scholarly queen. There's a myriad of opportunities. She also probably has a pretty good following on social media. and she's big in the academic space. So if not now, like she can always go back to her job if she wants to, or a software job. But like, why not take the bull by the horns, keep going, you know, off the momentum, and see what you could do with your life, Amy. Get it, girl. I support this.
I don't know. I kind of had the opposite take.
What?
Like, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't follow her on social media, so I don't know like what she's doing and like how she's popping off.
She's
but
very
the
funny.
idea that like she's like so smart, she has this like big job, and now she's gonna quit and become an influencer, like it just makes you sad.
By the way, that's not what she's gonna do. She's not becoming an influencer.
What is she doing?
She's definitely she's just gonna be like a Ken Jennings in a sense. Like, I don't know exactly what she's gonna do, but she's not gonna be selling FabFitFun boxes. She's like a well-respected woman in science and woman in academia, and she'll do speaking gigs.
Because of Jeopardy?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
She's going to do speaking, motivational speaking. She's going to definitely work with the LGBTQ plus community. I think that it's not what you think it is. It's going to be huge.
I don't know if it's going to be huge, but I don't really know. I just feel like maybe she could have taken a sabbatical just to like ride this wave. I don't know how far this wave will take her. Even thinking about Ken Jennings, like, did he wind up getting the job?
He's still in the rotation of people.
So like, what does he do all the other days of the week?
There's stuff out there. It's not stuff we're familiar with because we're not scholars, but you could be famous in academic circles. I know that's possible. I just don't know anyone who is.
And it pays the bills.
Of course, merit scholars, you know, things like that.
Okay. I mean, to me, it's like if she has this job that she's liked for a very long time, and then she gets this cushion of $1.3 million after taxes and, you know, fees and everything. That's like that's just a nice setup. Okay,
Jackie,
you know, life becomes a little more comfortable.
That's how one person could do it. But she took the nation by storm, and I think she's really she's like a huge inspiration in the gay community. Like, I think that there's so much she could do. And yes, she could, you know, have a simple, wonderful life with her millions, or she could get after it. Take those opportunities. Wouldn't you?
I don't know what the opportunities are, so I can't say.
Me neither, but I know they're out there, okay?
Okay, I just like, I don't know. It's just crazy. Everyone just wants to be an influencer, you know?
No, don't put Amy down like that. That's not what she's doing.
Okay, I hope I'm proven wrong. Really.
You know what? I really, like, I don't know what the opportunities are, but like, I know that there are. Like, she's going to do like college commencements. Like, I just know it.
Just because she won Jeopardy?
Jackie, she didn't win Jeopardy. She is the second highest ranked Jeopardy winner. She, I'm sure, has a myriad of stories to tell, things she's been through. She could write a book.
She could write a book. You know, I mean, I need to see
just
what
because
Ken Jennings,
maybe you're not like the target demo because you don't watch Jeopardy. Like, doesn't mean she's an inspiration to a lot of people. She can do motivational speaking.
What Ken Jennings does with his time. Motivational speaking, for sure. For sure.
What does Ken Jennings do with his time? Look it up.
It's a hard question to find out. Let me see. Personal life.
No, career.
Okay, career. Outside Jeopardy. Okay, so it says other game show appearances, American Crossword Puzzle Tournament, Connections. I guess that's like his own show, Connections. Tuesday trivia emails, controversial tweets, omnibus podcast, and Washington State Honor. Oh, she could start a podcast.
She could start a podcast where she's talking about all things, you know, scholarly.
Yeah, no, there's a big market for smart podcasts.
The thing is, like, we're not...
Look at ours.
Right, we're not academics, so, like, I don't really know, like, what she could do, but I'm telling you there's something.
Okay, I hope that you're right and that I'm wrong.
I think I am, and I think that never happens, but I think this might be one of the few times where I'm right and you're wrong.
Okay, cool. Are you ready for our fifth and final story?
I am. Because you want to know why? It's the final story. Do-do-do-do. Ah. Do-do-do-do-do. Ah. Ah. Do-do-do-do. Da. It's the final story. Wishing you the best, Amy Schneider, on your influencing journey. And that's a magic number. That was like my breathy version, like my Ariana Grande version.
I liked it a lot.
It was kind of stunning.
Our fifth and final story, I have to get your take on this because NBC Sports is responding to Leslie Jones, who was taking herself out of the Olympics commentary running. Apparently, she said, I'm starting to feel like this should be my last Olympics that I live tweet. I know, another celebrity bitching, but I'm tired of fighting the folks who don't want me to do it. They block my videos and they get folks who think they can do it like me, and I'm tired of fighting them. I love the athletes and they love me doing it, and I know y'all love it, but now it's just gotten too hard and no one is fighting for or with me. So I guess I'll leave it to the professionals, but thank you for the love. Then NBC responded saying that it was an error that led to her belief that they didn't want her doing this. They said, this was the result of a third-party error, and the situation has been resolved. She is free to do her social media posts as she has done in the past. She's a super fan of the Olympics, and we are super fans of her.
This rubs me the wrong way. Mm-hmm. I saw that Leslie posted that, and it wasn't that I didn't believe her, but I'm like, how are they blocking you? Like, I just didn't understand. And now look at NBC fully validating her story, corroborating. And I'm sorry I doubted you, Leslie. You're a hero and an icon, an American woman who deserves freedom of platform, and I support.
Agreed. Now that I think about it, what was probably happening is if she was filming the TV and commentating, then maybe she was getting they were taking them down for copyright. And that's obviously frustrating for her when she's trying to speak on the situation. But she should obviously be whitelisted into being able to do this.
Obviously. And also, I just think NBC should make this official. They're so dumb. Also, the Winter Olympics are struggling majorly. No one cares. Even me, I'm such an Olympic freak. And you could use your mute to cough, just letting you know, because I do that sometimes.
Oh yeah.
There's a mute. It's really nice.
I didn't know it was gonna be that big of a cough. Okay.
No, but even if it's a small cough, you should always just press mute, because that's this new interface we're using. It's one of my favorite, because I could go like this. Ready? I just sniffled and nobody heard. Did you hear?
Okay. I think people wanted to hear me cough.
No, I don't think that they do. But I just don't understand why NBC is not actually using Leslie as an asset. She is an asset. People are obsessed. People are watching. The same amount of people are tuning into her Instagram stories and her TikToks than are tuning into the Olympics. I don't know why. Nobody's watching the Olympics. Even me. I can't be bothered.
Yeah. I think that it's the plight of the Winter Games. It's just, they're not the Summer Games. There's a lot of controversy. There's just a lot of different things, stories coming out, weirdness, quarantine food. It's bad. It's bad.
It's upsetting for an Olympophile like myself, but
I have no desire to watch. Even when we shared last week about the opening ceremony, I was expecting that I would get into it. I haven't turned it on. At this point, I won't be turning it on. It's extremely weird. The whole situation is very weird.
Yeah, I turn it on every day and I cannot stay off my phone. I cannot focus on any of these activities.
Yeah. So at least they should be thanking Leslie Jones for bringing some relevancy to this extremely bizarre time and broadcast.
And they should really take her on in an official capacity. She's fucking hilarious.
Of course.
There's no reason.
Didn't they bring her to Rio?
I hope so.
But that was 6 years ago now.
And she's still doing it. She's so funny. She's one of my favorite people to follow on TikTok. Les Dog. Come on.
Yeah, but I'm glad they're working it out, but it's still you shouldn't have to make it so difficult for her when at the end of the day she's doing you a favor.
Literally bringing eyeballs to your
irrelevant program.
Irrelevant program. No disrespect to the athletes, because you guys are gorgeous, beautiful, stunning, and smart. It's the programming, it's the marketing, it's just not working.
No disrespect to the athletes. That's what hurts, to have worked your whole life and then to go. And it feels like nobody cares. But I'm sure there's enough people that care, and they're sponsors and they're doing all of the things that they typically do. But also I think as an Olympian, it's not a premium experience over there. Have you seen the food that they're getting?
But by the way,
have you seen the food?
I haven't seen the food, but there's always complaints about the Olympic Village and the cardboard beds. Where was the last Summer Olympics? Just recently?
Where the fuck were they? We were just watching. Tokyo?
They were in Tokyo. Yes. There was all these TikToks. They were literally sleeping on cardboard beds. There's always stuff like that. So I don't think that's what's the core of this problem. I can't put my finger on what it is, but I don't think it's that.
I think we know what it is, but we don't want this video taken down.
What?
There's just a lot of like political issues.
Oh, in China, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm not feeling the Olympic spirit.
No, not feeling the Olympic spirit, but I am hoping that the athletes, get their shine.
Yeah, and as someone who has that spirit running through her blood, it's very upsetting.
Yes.
Cool. So those are the Fast 5 stories. Very complex.
Very complex. You could see how I had a difficult time ordering them. Not one was so much more important than another.
No, it's true. But, you did a great job because you're a great girl.
Thank you. And I felt like the Olympics could lead us into the TV recap.
Because we are the Olympians of recapping television. All right, the TV recap is brought to you by Paint Your Life. When we heard about paintyourlife.com, we thought, what a great gift for someone else, but also for us. You would think it's expensive to have like a full piece of art commissioned for you personally, but it's really not. You get a professional hand-painted portrait created from any photo at a really affordable price, or you can combine photos of people or places you love into one painting. Choose from a team of world-class artists and work with them until every detail is perfect. The platform's user-friendly, so it makes it really easy to order a custom-made hand-painted portrait in less than 5 minutes, and it's super fast. You can receive your portrait in as little as 2 weeks. So send any picture. I obviously sent a picture of Theo, and it's on my Theo shrine. It's one of my favorites. It came so fast. It's gorgeous. It's unique. It's special. And it's really the best gift, like, for anyone. I know a lot of people use this to, like, have photos painted of people who have passed away. Like, you can really do it for anyone. It's so different. It's not like other gifts. It's actually really, really sweet. And at paintyourlife.com, there's no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money's refunded, guaranteed. And right now, as a limited time offer, you can get 20% off your painting, 20% off and free shipping, but only when you text the word morning to 64,000. That's morning to 64,000 for free shipping and 20% off. Text morning to 64,000. Paint Your Life. Celebrate the moments that matter most. Message and data rates may apply. Terms available at paintyourlife.com/terms. Again, text morning to 64,000.
Great. Thank you so much. I love Paint Your Life. What a thoughtful gift and just like a great piece of art even for yourself.
So I thought last night's jersey was really interesting. For me, there's two things going on. The first is like the Gia, Melissa, Teresa, Joe, and then obviously the Jennifer Aiden drama. Let's start with the first because I feel like, Italian culture is actually, and I talked about this on Melissa Gorga's podcast, so sorry if you're hearing this for the second time, but Italian culture is actually really similar to like Jewish culture in the sense where like you have ultimate respect for your elders. And like, I'm sure for Joe, like to hear Gia come at him like that, she was being like a little disrespectful. She's justified in her feelings, but I understand why it got to like this chaotic place because he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that just doesn't happen in Italian families, right?
Yeah. If this was a conversation between like, say, Teresa and Joe, he would have been more receptive to the way she was talking to him. But from the way that Gia approached him from the jump, he was not going to be entertained, not going to entertain being spoken to like that. And I have to be honest, in that regard, I do agree. I felt like when they were like all fighting in the driveway, like he wouldn't let her like say her piece because he just like was so blinded by the disrespect. But I think for him, like, it's blinding.
And you also have to think, like, given the context, like, I know that Joe is Gia's dad. I do, and I respect that. But I don't even think she can get into the headspace of Joe Gorga. Like, all that he did for those kids when Joe was put away. And then also the things like he made personal sacrifices, like, his parents being so stressed out. Like, I totally understand. And it must be hard to hear. Like, it's like Gia doesn't even want to acknowledge like the bad shit her dad did. And it's like, I understand wanting to see your parents in like a positive light, but like you also can't be delusional. Like he literally put your mom in prison and he took years away from your mom spending time with her parents.
Yeah, no, I think Joe Gorga is totally justified in his like anger towards Joe Giudice. I don't think they'll ever, squash it. I don't think they ever could because like of what was lost, what can never be brought back. Like, as Joe Gorga would say, he put his parents in an early grave. And, he sent his sister to prison. Like, these are real things. And everyone's like, it was 5 years ago. Like, does that ever become fine?
No.
Right. So I understand that Joe Gorga will never get over it. I don't even think that he necessarily should get over it. It's just going to always be this wedge between him and Gia. And, like, you can feel how much he loves Gia and he doesn't want there to be a wedge. So I think he would rather, like, air it out, bring light to it, but she can't hear the truth. It's too painful for her.
Yeah.
And I also have to respect that because she has been through so much and like she experienced it, just as alongside with everyone in a really, like, at a very vulnerable and pivotal time in her life. So, like, everybody's entitled to how they feel here. Yeah. And typically the way to resolve things is to talk it out, but talking about it is like making it worse. And so I don't know what they should do.
You know, I also really feel for Melissa because you can sense how much she's trying to like deflate and just minimize the situation, because like they like if Joe and Melissa like actually told Teresa, like, they swallow so much. If they actually told her every time but like they would be back where they were 10 years ago. And Melissa, I think, is so afraid of being back in that place that she swallows everything. And like this situation is like blowing up right in front of her. And she's like, she's not taking Gia's side, but she's trying to like comfort Gia because they're so every fight they have, they're minutes away from being back to the place with the christening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she doesn't want that. It was a terrible time for Melissa.
Yeah, I agree. And but I also feel like Teresa doesn't do anything to help the situation either. She's just like standing there watching when it's like, this should be Teresa's fight. I mean, I guess Teresa couldn't go to Joe and be like, stop talking shit about like my girl's father, because it makes them upset.
Joe is defending Teresa. Joe's defending Teresa here.
Right.
And you know how she loves to be defended.
That's why we got to get Joe Giudice back in the States for one last hurrah between Joe and Joe.
I'm not even interested.
Joe on Joe.
I'm not even interested.
We are going to settle this.
So the other part of the episode, which was super interesting, was this event at Dolores's. I just love Dolores. You know why? Because I get so frustrated with her because she's like weirdly team Jennifer and Teresa. And when the three of them are sitting at that birthday party, unable to see their own hypocrisy, I was like, you guys are delusional. Like, literally, Teresa did something worse. Teresa had no reason to go after Jackie, and she made it up. Margaret has a million reasons to go after Jennifer, and it's true. So, like, the fact that they can't see, like, how far up they are Teresa's ass, I was, like, so disappointed in Dolores. But then seeing her go out with Margaret and, like, get all the facts, I was, like, I had some of my faith restored in Dolores because she's so, like, ethical. Like, she's so wise, and she's principled. But she's always, like, using her principles in the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree. I was glad to see her like come to the other side because it's hard watching. Ultimately, I am Team Margaret because like Jennifer doesn't just get to go around and say the things that she does. There are some caveats, and I think Jennifer made a good point where it's like with Margaret, everything that Jennifer has like judged Margaret for are things that Margaret put out. Has shared. So you're taking something from the private and then judging me for that. But again, when you push and push and push someone, like they're going to come back swinging, and that's just how it is. So I generally, like, I feel like Margaret was justified in being like, let's fucking shut this shit down. And why is it after every reunion, like Jennifer, and at the reunions, like Jennifer just like goes scorched earth on all these women, and then it's episode 1 and she has to like come with her tail between her legs. Like, why does she keep putting herself in this fucking position? Anyways, but I do feel for Jennifer that like now this is out there, her kids are going to know, and it's a different situation, like Jackie said, because at the end of the day, Jackie gets to tell her kids like this is a rumor, and Jennifer is going to have to tell her kids like this is what your dad did, and that's really hard. And I have compassion for her, but
of course,
sometimes you need to learn things the hard way and to not push other people. Like, it's the epitome of people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And she's fucking throwing bricks for years now.
And you know what? I've actually been enormously impressed with Jackie's behavior. Like, I don't think I could be that big of a person, like really wanting to help Jennifer. And then like after all that, she went over to her house and she's cuddling her at Dolores' house. And then she hears that Jennifer is like still going around to Serena and Tenafly finding pictures of the girl Evan fucked. Like, she's relentless, and she still can't see why what's being done to her they feel is justified. She can't see that even after all this. And she's just like, I don't know. I'm like, Jennifer, like, you're so big. You love to like come after everyone, and we come for you and you're crying and you have to go home. Like, I'm like, really? Everything she's shown us up until this point has been an act.
You can dish it out, but you can't take it. And this rule that like you can only dish it out if it's false information. Like, so what, we're just
that's Teresa's twisted logic.
When she said that at the table, and it's so crazy, she's like rendering herself irrelevant because of how illogical she is to speak to, and all of the women in their confessionals were like, yeah, we just don't even answer her.
Whatever.
It makes no fucking sense. But it's like, this is the star of the show, and you can't even have a conversation with her. It's so crazy. Like, she if I were her, would shut her mouth when it comes to everything about this, because it's like everything that she says about it, it's like, well, what about Jackie and Evan? What about what you did to Evan? What about what you did to Jackie? Like, you can't say one thing about this situation without thinking about what she did there. Like, obviously, the opposite of principled.
Obviously. And also this new housewife coming in with like the worst take. She was so irrelevant. Then she had one interview scene and it's like defending Jennifer. It's like, girl, that is not the right take. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know. I think that if you came into a situation, and even though like Melissa and all her friends are saying like, Jennifer's crazy, she's so mean, she's done all this, you come into the room and this girl is sitting there crying and everyone's like, and her life, I could understand being like, this seems like a lot.
Well, you know what? I actually did, though, think it was interesting some of the details we got about the affair, like her being 9 months pregnant and giving birth the next day. Like, that's horrible.
Horrible. But I didn't realize it was 10 years ago. I thought it was like in the last few years, like while they were doing the show sort of thing. So it really is in the past.
And the way that Jennifer handled it is like she totally acted like it didn't happen, didn't tell her friends, her family. So now she's just like, her spot's being blown up a bit.
Yeah, and if you have a spot that's like going to be blown up, you shouldn't be coming at everyone swinging so hard. And I think for Margaret, it's like, you've judged me so hard for having had an affair when like the person that you love has had an affair too. I know. I think other people are like, well, obviously Jennifer judges Margaret harshly because she's been the scorned woman in that situation. Right. But it's like, if you can, you know, move on swiftly with Bill, and plus like at the end of the day, Margaret and Joe had their relationship started from an affair, but like they're completely OTP. They've been together for so long. Like, at what point is it just, you know, these things, they do it's unfortunate, but they happen sometimes. Yeah,
like, I don't know if, I mean, I can acknowledge that I'm extremely biased. Like, I love Margaret with all my heart. Like, I know her personally. But I just feel like it would frustrate me if I was Margaret that, like, nobody seems to give a shit. Like, when they replay some of the stuff Jennifer said to her, like, your mother's a slut, you were asking to be sexually assaulted. Like, I would be annoyed that, like, none of the women are as enraged. Like, I understand where Margaret's rage is coming from. Like, it's not just the basic housewife bullshit that Jennifer has been saying. Jennifer has been saying, like, some of the most horrific, demeaning things to Margaret for years. So how these women don't understand how annoyed Margaret is and Margaret wants revenge, like, I can understand that. I'm a vengeful person.
I agree. I think that there is a real double standard with the group and the women. Like, they expect more from Margaret than they do from Jennifer or Teresa, because they're really like, they do crazy and say crazy things, and like it's not held to like the same standard as like when Margaret were to do something, or even like Jackie saying if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, all of a sudden it's the villain of the season.
Right. That's the worst thing anyone could say to Teresa.
Just saying something that's true, and she did like just alluding to the truth. Or if you could control what your husband did, would he be like, would you have gone to jail? Truth, like, and that was like the biggest fucking deal. Meanwhile, Jennifer and Teresa, I feel like they kind of ignore them, and they expect like the women shouldn't have their feelings so hurt by them. But it's apples and oranges. I can't. We're all castmates. Like, you're all adult.
It's not
women.
A leveled playing field.
But it should be more level. Even like Teresa, I was even thinking last night about like the Teresa Danielle Staub pulling Margaret's hair thing. Like, if I'm Margaret, I'm still thinking about that. I'm never getting over that in my life. Like, we can go on vacation and keep it here, but we will never be anything closer or deeper than that. Like, that's a line crossed I will never forget.
Being a Real Housewife of New Jersey must be so frustrating, because like, you are not entitled to like, it's not a fair game. Like, Teresa's just on this pedestal and she gets away with whatever, and it's like, it's so annoying.
Yeah, and Jennifer is kind of there too, because season after season, like, she goes below the belt. She like, not everything she says and does like really adds up, because she's very extreme, but she keeps coming back on the show. People love her. I mean, I really like Jennifer, but it's like, if you want to have a fair fight, you need to fight with one of your friends, because no one else is gonna like it's apples and oranges.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good episode. It's actually a really good kickoff to the season. I don't know where this new girl is gonna fit in, because she seems so irrelevant already, but let's give her some time.
Yeah, we need to get to know her on a personal level so I can see like where she slots in, because she kind of seems like similar to Jackie and Melissa, and I don't know what new stuff she brings to the table. And there was another woman. Is she supposed to be?
I don't think so, but she was cute. She looked like they thought she was Teresa.
Yeah, she was cute.
She was cute. I like Dolores' new house. I love Dolores. Like, I just wish Dolores could really wield her power. it like
good.
And I know what Dolores thinks. Like, she's a smart person. And if she could actually say what she thinks and, like, go against Teresa, like, it would be gorgeous. But that would never happen.
No. But that's also because she's a principled queen. And she's been friends with Teresa long before this show. And she's not just going to throw her under. And I have so much respect for that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then what did you think about the Gilded Age?
Okay, so I only watched the first episode, but it was really long. It's literally like watching a movie. And
it's so long.
I love the Gilded Age period. Like, I love that age, New York, that time. It's everything of the sort. So exciting. And so I'm really excited about the show. There were definitely elements of community theater, and that's also because of, like, the accents, you know, the way that they spoke back then.
Yes.
It's like we're watching and it's like, why are you talking like that? If you're it's not like a British accent and you're speaking English, so why are you talking funny?
Right.
So it's hard to watch. And I think
totally.
The Russell woman, I think that she is the biggest perpetrator of that. And it comes off very...
The blonde one?
No, the one, New Money.
Oh, the mom?
Yeah.
She's the worst. Like, she's just so obnoxious. Like, I can't.
Yeah, so I think that her acting gives a little bit of community theater, and there were definitely times where sometimes it felt stilted in that way, but I love the premise for the show, and I had it reminded me of this book that I read called The Social Graces, because it's about Mrs. Astor and not Consuelo, Alva Vanderbilt, and they reference the real people in the show. Even like Mamie Fish is a real person, and I think even that architect, I need to Google him, the architect
who built their house.
Yeah, I think let me just Google it really quickly. I meant to do it last night. I think he's a real architect, and he like got into like a real scandal. So I'm sure, I like wonder if that's part of the show.
Don't spoil it.
He is a real architect. Hold on. Let me just make sure that it's the scandal. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I was right. So if they put like real historical incidents into the show, like that's my favorite kind of anything, book, TV show, whatever. So I'm here for the premise on all counts. It definitely is going to take a minute to like warm up. I am excited to watch the second episode. Brew loved it. Obviously there's Pumpkin, King Charles Cavalier. He felt extremely seen.
Any show that has a Cavalier, like I will watch until the final episode of the final season.
I totally agree, but like you could tell, like whenever a dog barks or whatever, like he's like, what was that?
Right.
But when he saw this dog, he sat up at the edge of the bed and just sat watching. Like it was on a different level.
Too cute.
So if Brew likes it, I like it. I'm excited for the second episode. Hopefully they find their groove more, but I think it has all the makings of something fabulous. I agree that Cynthia Nixon it's extremely distracting. Like
distracting.
Like she's on And Just Like That and The Gilded Age. Like I'm sorry, you can't
at the same time.
You can't do both.
And, like, maybe there's an actor out there who is that talented and diverse that can do both at the same time. It ain't Cynthia Nixon.
Yeah. So that's my critique. But I like her character, so it's fine.
Yes, me too.
And also, the show is, like, very anti-licious. It's kind of, like, my perfect ideal show.
It's anti-licious. Totally.
I had one more thing to say. Shit. Was it about the Gilded Age? I don't know.
I watched not a lick of TV. I was just so busy yesterday. So that's it for me on the TV recap. But
you did watch New Jersey.
Yes, that's it.
Shoot, I forget what I was going to say if it was about Gilded
pregnancy
Age or
brain.
So scrambled.
Oh, well, if that's all from you, that's all from us. If you're listening as a podcast,
I think it was a brew ting. Hold on, let me try.
I'll just check my texts.
Pumpkin, the King Charles. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Okay, we got an Instagram comment yesterday that I found so interesting that I need to share with the class, because when we were talking about Charles becoming King Charles, someone explained why he's actually not going to be called King Charles. And, okay, here it is. My British husband just chimed in to let us know that Prince Charles will not be called King Charles. He'll be King George VII. The past two King Charleses were horrible, so he doesn't want that line of succession, and his middle name is George, so it works out fine. Not fine for me, but I guess that's the plan.
First of all, how are we going to transition to calling him George from Charles, first of all? Second of all, like the fact that we're most likely going to be alive, knock on wood, during like a King George VII era, like that's giving 1776.
No, King George VII is not an icon. He is not the moment. And I think that you know what? And maybe if King Charles's in the past have been, you know, a bit mad, if the
then
shoe
it's perfect.
fits, the shoe
100%.
fits, and he could turn the term around. I think, Charles, if you're watching, like, please don't do this.
Be true to yourself, your awful self.
I know, but you know they've been doing for centuries where, like, when you do ascend to the throne, you do change your name for whatever reason. But I like it better when they don't. Victoria didn't. Elizabeth didn't.
I agree.
The icons didn't. I mean, I guess you'd have to be an icon to not change your name. So maybe it's George after all.
It's for the best. I'm glad you remembered that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I'm so glad that I did too.
So if you're listening as a podcast, keep listening for the interview with Fofia. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think. If you're a Fofia stan, like, you're going to love the episode. And if you like didn't know, if you fell on the opposite side of the call her daddy drama, we can all be civil, and I think you'll really appreciate her perspective. It's unique, and I feel like she doesn't really talk about this a lot, so I feel very privileged that she felt open and comfortable to talk about it, because it's a very painful time for her. So enjoy the interview. If you want to watch it on YouTube, it's a totally separate video than today's episode. It's on our channel. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear it and let me know what you think, and only let me know what you think if it's positive. Cool. Thank you so much for listening to The Morning Toast, the Millennial Morning Show, where we deliver the fast 5 stories that you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're also available as a podcast anywhere podcasts can be found. So that's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Radio, iHeartRadio, CastBox, all the places. So wherever you listen to podcasts, find us The Morning Toast and leave a 5-star review about how beautiful, stunning, and smart we are. Hope you guys have an amazing hump day. Do not forget to hump someone you love. Bye.
Bye.